Good morning, everyone. Today we will be discussing the topic The Dolphins. That's a poem written by Carol and Duffy for class +1. By the end of this video, you will be able to understand the concept of the poem Dolphins. You will be able to understand the theme of lack of freedom of the poem. You will be able to understand the concept of human greed and cruelty meted out to animals, and you will be able to understand the critical remarks of the poem. Let us quickly discuss about the poet Carol and Duffy. Carol and Duffy is a Scottish poet and playwright. She was born in Glasgow on December 23, 1955, the first child of May and Frank Duffy. Let us discuss about the poem briefly. Carol and Duffy's The Dolphin is a dramatic monologue written from the perspective of a dolphin who remembers its previous life of freedom and bliss in the ocean and compares it with its present life of confinement in an artificial pool. Now children, what is the meaning of dramatic monologue? A dramatic monologue means a single person who is not the poet utters the speech in a specific situation that makes up the whole of the poem. Here, the speaker is a dolphin itself. Now children, what is the meaning of bliss? It means perfect happiness. What is the meaning of confinement? It means restriction. The Dolphins is a poem which highlights the troubled life of dolphins, man's best friend at sea. The poem portrays dolphins as the speakers who speak of their troubles in a tone of disappointment. They feel that although they are man's best friend in the sea, they are trapped and ordered to do the same work every day, which they do not enjoy, and know that they are around to entertain their so-called friends. They live in a world of doubt and wonder if humans were their best friends in the past and realize all they lived in was a make-believe. They have forever lost and forgotten what freedom is, as they are certain that they will live until death in the trapped waters with fanciful boundaries and toys. The dolphins, which sound and seem very friendly and put a jovial front in front of humans, live and think in a world of desolation and loneliness, away from home. Now let us read out the points of the summary through these signposts. The dolphins are inside the water but still feel confined. The shape, movement and thoughts of one dolphin resembles another. This poem presents the viewpoint of a trapped, helpless dolphin. The dolphin tells us about the dolphin's happy life in the ocean and their experience in the limited space of water tank. A man with hoops constantly controls them. The space, the water which these dolphins inhabit does not appear true to them. It is not real, not natural, but man-made. Now these lines, children, hint at the man's complete control and dominance, as dolphins have to move in a limited place. They lead only a monotonous life. The dolphins remember their earlier state of bliss and compare it to the present state of confinement. The dolphins swim in the same restricted space now. The man is dominating. He controls their movements. The dolphins, on the other hand, love and sympathize with each other. Dominating, children, means controlling. The dolphin thinks of her silver skin, which used to shine in the sun. Now the dolphin recalls the time when they were in the sea. The sunlight that reflects off their skin in the sea gave their skin a silvery appearance. The dolphins are now enslaved. There is no sun, no moon, but what is left for them is a colored ball and a plastic toy. So in the water park, children, the dolphins are given an artificial plastic toy to play with. There is no other music than the single note of whistle. The moon has been replaced by a man-made source of light. The new world is hopeless for them and reminds them of their lost freedom. The dolphins sink. They have realized they will die here. There is no escape for them. So, nothing is natural at this place for the dolphins. The dolphins only know that they have a bleak future. They are sure they will die. So, children, this paragraph is a kind of protest against man's attitude towards the other creatures. In the desire to show his superiority, the man treats these helpless creatures in an inhuman way. He never cares to think how the trapped creatures feel and suffer. We are haunted by the prophecy made by the entrapped dolphin when it says, "There is a plastic toy, there is no hope. We sink. There is a man, and our mind knows we will die here." Now let us quickly discuss the themes of the poem. The first theme of the poem is enslavement or lack of freedom. Now enslavement is one of the main themes of the poem. The poem begins with the dolphin's words that world is what you swim in or dance. The words swim and dance are playful words depicting joy and freedom. But in the next line, reality strikes hard. The dolphins are in their element but are enslaved. Though they are in water, they live a life totally opposite to their free and carefree life in the ocean. They are now restricted to a limited space in a pool where they cannot swim or dance freely. Their movements are constantly regulated by a man in authority. Now children, what is the meaning of their element? It means water. And what is the meaning of regulated? It means controlled. So this paragraph tells us that dolphins have been taken away from their natural habitat, that is ocean. They have been brought to a narrow restricted pool of water, and here they are controlled by the man. Though they are in water, their element, they are not happy, they are not free, they cannot swim or dance. They are totally controlled by somebody else. This is the reason why they say, "We were blessed and now we are not blessed." After traveling such space for days, we began to translate. It was the same space. It is the same space always, and above it is the man. These lines, children, tell us about the plight of the dolphins who think that they were blessed when they were in the ocean. But now here in the water pool, they are not blessed. They kept on traveling in the same space for many days, and finally they realized that it was the same space where they were swimming. And it is the same space always where they swim. There is a man above them all the time who controls them. The narrow pool does not give these dolphins new experiences. It does not offer them freedom and enjoyment. It is monotonous and tiring. Amid the captivity, they do not feel blessed. Earlier they had everything they wanted, but now they are in a world that does not even let them dream. Now, monotonous means boring, and the meaning of captivity is the state of being restricted. That is why they say, "And now we are no longer blessed, for the world will not deepen to dream in." There were times when they were free in the vast expanse of the ocean, and the rays of the sun used to fall on their bodies, making their skin appear silvery. But all these things are a memory of distant past. The reality which was so close to them once has now become somewhere else. This shows how the dolphins keep thinking about the times when they could freely swim and dance in the sea. Now the dolphins have some painful memories. They were once blessed in the expansive water of the ocean. Now, confined to the pool, they are no longer blessed. They remember the sunlight that reflected off their skin, which gave them silvery appearance. But that memory is just a distant past. It is a memory of somewhere else. They just keep thinking about the time they could freely swim. They could dance in the sea and they could have new experiences. But now the dolphins have been displaced from their original habitat, that is the expansive sea. The moon has disappeared in their present habitat. Thus, in their confined state in a pool, the moon is not visible to them. Their heart sings music of loss and they are devoid of any hope of freedom. The dolphins confined within the barricades of a man-made environment have realized that their end is nearing. Now, what is the meaning of devoid, children? Devoid means without. What is the meaning of barricades? Barricade is a temporary wall to prevent the movement. They say there is a plastic toy. There is no hope. We sink to the limits of the pool until the whistle blows. There's a man and our mind knows we'll die here. Now let us discuss the next theme of the poem, that is human greed and cruelty. The theme of human greed and cruelty is reflected in the poem through the dolphin who gives voice to the oppression and cruelty meted out to all animals. The theme of human greed and the consequent cruelty done to the animals, as pointed out in the poem, is truly reflected in the statement made by Greta Garth in Ecofeminism, Women, Animals, Nature, 1993. Now children, what is the meaning of oppression? Oppression means the action of causing pain to someone. And what is the meaning of meted out? Meted out means given as punishment. Now this paragraph, children, tells us about the exploitation and abuse of wildlife by human beings for their material gains. The dolphins also underlines the idea that man in his pride fails to realize how animals are badly affected. She states, today the facts of animal suffering are well known. Dairy cows are regularly separated from newborn calves so that their milk can go to humans while their infants are chained in tightly fitting crates for 4 months and fed on iron deficient diet until they are slaughtered. Now children, what is the meaning of infants? Infants are babies. What is the meaning of crates? Crates are boxes. What is the meaning of iron deficient diet? That means diet lacking iron. And what is the meaning of slaughtered? It means brutally killed. Now they take away the newborn babies of cows who need to take milk from their mothers, and the same milk is provided to the humans. The infants are chained tightly in the crate for around 4 months and they are given iron deficient diet, due to which they do not grow well and ultimately they are slaughtered. Chickens are de-beaked and crowded 5 to each 16 by 18 inch cage. Their natural lifespan of 15 to 20 years shortened to 2. Pigs are confined in narrow steel stalls with concrete floors, while sows are kept in a continual cycle of pregnancy, birth and artificial insemination. Their piglets taken away from them before they have even had the chance to suckle. Children, this paragraph shows another form of horrendous cruelty meted out to chickens and pigs. The chickens are de-beaked. De-beaked means the beaks are removed and they are kept in small cages. This reduces their lifespan. And the male pigs are kept in stalls, whereas the female pigs are kept in a continual cycle of pregnancy, birth and artificial insemination. Their piglets, their young ones, are taken away from them before they could even suckle the milk of their mothers. The above facts reflect human cruelty to animals. Dolphins by Duffy shows the poet's sympathy for the animals. The dolphins are confined in an artificial pool. Their movements are restricted. They no longer feel blessed as there is a man constantly controlling them. Man, for his own monetary purpose, forces the dolphins to perform tricks with hoops, and each day they are forced to balance themselves on the colored balls. Now children, what is the meaning of monetary? It means related to money. This paragraph tells us it is the man who forces the dolphins to perform by jumping through hoops or after a colored ball. The dolphins feel like a slave in the limited space where they are fed up with the monotonous routine of their lives. Their life under the control of human beings is in sharp contrast with their free days. The moon has disappeared from them as they are always indoors. Their life is monotonous, circling the grooves of water on a single note. The other dolphin feels a loss, and the speaking dolphin's heart is turned into a stone. The present predicament and impending doom are enough to reduce the dolphin's heart to a stone. It has sympathy for the others in the new world, but its own life and its own heart has turned into a stone. There is no hope, and what is left with these majestic creatures is a plastic toy. Also, every day they have to sink to the limits of the pool until the whistle blows. Originally, they are clever dolphins, but after being captured and trained, they have to follow the man's order, and in order to survive, they have to obey him, because there is a man and they will die there. This paragraph, children, tells us that the dolphins have to go down and remain there until the whistle blows to call them out. They know there is a man who controls their lives. They know very well that they are fated to die there. The dolphins are thus exploited in the poem. They are trapped and transported from their home. They are confined and socially isolated from other dolphins. They are forced to perform tricks at the order of a man. The poem, through the viewpoint of a dolphin, reveals the sufferings and sadness in their hopeless life. The poem thus indirectly requests all human beings not to destroy the natural habitats of animals and their lives. They have as much right to live in their natural habitat as we humans have. Now children, what is the meaning of exploited? It means to make use of something for profit. And what is the meaning of isolated? It means separated. Now this paragraph tells us how the dolphins are trapped and taken away from their natural habitat. This poem exhorts implicitly against the needless confinement of these innocent creatures. Let us all allow animals to enjoy their freedom in their natural environment. They have as much right to live in their natural habitat as we humans have. Now let us discuss the critical remarks of the poem. The first point under critical remarks is the play of contrast. Contrast is used to heighten the effect of differences between two or more entities. This means contrast is the term which is used to show differences between two or more things. They are usually the opposites. The poem works on a series of contrasts between the dolphins' present confined state to their earlier free state. The poem begins with a happy tone where the dolphins call their world a place where they can swim or dance. The dolphins are in their element, that is, in the ocean. But what follows next stands in the stark contrast to this. But we are not free. The tone suddenly changes to one that is sad and distressing. Now there is a contrast in the very first line and the second line of the poem. The poem begins with a happy tone when the dolphins say that the world is where they can swim or dance. But in the very next line, the tone changes into a sad one and a distressing one when there is a stark contrast to the first line in which they say, but we are not free. The dolphins once used to feel free and blessed in their element, that is the vast and limitless ocean. But now it is the opposite. They are confined to a man-made small pool. They are no longer blessed as they are forced to travel same space daily. They have found no truth in these waters, which specifically draws comparison with those waters in the ocean which were real and true. This world does not give way to their dreams. Again, there is a contrast between their past and present situation. Earlier, they were in a vast, limitless ocean, and the waters seemed true and real to them. But now they are restrained in man-made small pool, and that is the reason why they do not find any truth in the water. Earlier, they were free to travel anywhere they wanted to, but now they are traveling in the same space, that is, man-made small pool. They feel that this world, this new world, does not give way to their dreams. The memory of somewhere else, where their skin used to flash in the sunlight, also draws on the contrast with this man-made world where there is no sun and the moon has disappeared. The dolphins are now trapped and are forced to perform and play with hoops, a ball and a plastic toy to entertain human beings. Their lives are rendered hopeless. There is a man constantly controlling them. There is no escape. The dolphins thus await their impending death. Now, what is the meaning of impending death, children? Impending means about to happen soon. The next contrast comes where earlier they used to be under the sun, and due to which their skin used to shine as if it was silver in color. But now even the moon has disappeared for them. Earlier they used to entertain themselves, but now they have to entertain the human beings. They have to perform with balls and hoops, and they have to play with only a plastic toy, and that also to entertain the human beings. Now let us discuss the second point. The point is critique of speciesism. Now children, what is the meaning of critique? Critique means a detailed analysis of something. Speciesism involves the assignment of different values, rights, or special consideration to individuals solely on the basis of their species membership. The term speciesism was first used in 1970s to describe discrimination against non-human animals. Now children, what is the meaning of solely? It means only. And what is the meaning of discrimination? It means unjust treatment. And who are non-human animals? Of course, they are human beings. The fact that animals are being exploited is well known today. For example, dairy cows are separated from the newborn calves so that the milk is accessible to humans. Chickens are de-beeved, or animals such as elephants are trained to perform in a circus. So this paragraph literally tells us about the exploitation of animals by non-human animals, that is the human beings. Carroll and Duffy's Dolphin aims at criticizing speciesism as a form of oppression by human beings as a species of privilege over other animals. It depicts the plight of dolphins imprisoned in a commercial pool. The dolphins are forced to leave their natural world, the vast expanse of sea, to inhabit a small man-made pool. Now children, what is the meaning of oppression? It means unjust treatment. And what is the meaning of plight? It means unfortunate situation. So this poem, Dolphins, criticizes speciesism where the human beings are treating the other animals such as dolphins, especially elephants, etc. in a very, very cruel way. Duffy in her poem gives the dolphins a voice to articulate their feelings of despair at the loss of their freedom, their natural habitat and their joy. They are captured, displaced and then exploited. They are forced by humans to perform tricks for their entertainment and commercial gain. Now what is the meaning of articulate? It means having the ability to speak fluently. What is the meaning of despair? It means complete loss or absence of hope. So Duffy's poem, Dolphins, gives the dolphins, who are the speaker of the poem, gives the dolphins a voice to express their despair, their sadness, because they have lost their freedom, their natural habitat, and also their joy. The dolphin in this new world are not blessed. The water is too shallow for them. They cannot dream anymore, and the mighty creatures are reduced to the status of mere puppets controlled by humans. Their freedom is snatched away, and all they are required to do is to balance themselves on a colored ball or to play with a plastic toy. Their new life is not lively anymore. It gives them a feeling of sinking every day. Their life is monotonous, circling the grooves of water on a single note. Now, single note is the note of a whistle, children. Just because their species is different from humans, they are captured and trained and made to follow orders. The dolphins are non-human animals and thus are trapped, captured, transported from her home and socially isolated from other dolphins, confined and asphyxiated and forced to perform. Asphyxiated, children, means suffocated. The poem, by revealing the sadness and suffering of helpless dolphins, criticizes this form of speciesism. The poem thus can be read as a plea to give animals their natural rights and stop classifying them as inferior to humans. What is the meaning of plea, children? It means request. Now for your homework, children, plan stanza 1 and 2 of the poem and revise the theme.